device startup company that developed tests for early detection of cancer, cardiovascular diseases, and infectious diseases. He then worked at MIT startup company BioScale, currently known as Proterex Bio Incorporated. He also currently works as a senior manager at IDEX, that's IDEXX Laboratories, a global leader in veterinary diagnostics, water testing, and dairy testing. He currently lives in Westbrook in the USA with a wife, 2 daughters, and a son. He's joining us online. Welcome, Dr. Malima.
Good morning.
Morning.
Hey, hey, hey. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, are you able to see my screen?
Yes. Yes.
Awesome. Good to go? Hello?
Yes, good to go. We can hear you.
All right, all right. Thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. Good night. Over here, it's about 1 a.m. Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for the kind introduction as well. I was able to hear it. Today, I'll be talking about the future of and the future role of at-home diagnostics in digital health innovations. But before I get to that, I would like to tell you a little bit about myself. Let me see if I can over here. All right. So I am a traveler. I love to travel. When I was a young boy, I used to be a Boy Scout. So as a Boy Scout, we used to travel a lot to go to different jamborees. So I got to see a significant part of Tanzania and even areas around Tanzania. And then after a while, I developed a passion for playing basketball. So I used to play for a ball club over there. I think earlier it was Pazi, and then I played for Oilers. And also later on, I played for the dart team. And that also gave me an opportunity to travel more. And I think it's because of those opportunities, I developed a lot of passion for traveling. So when I grew up and I wanted to become an engineer, I looked for opportunities to go abroad, and I ended up going to Turkey to study electrical engineering. So I did my electrical engineering as a bachelor's and as a master's in electronics and computer engineering, which is also the electrical engineering branch. And then I also did my doctorate as well in electrical engineering at Northeastern University. So first things first, I am not a doctor. I'm trained as an electrical engineer, but by profession, I am a biomedical engineer or a systems engineer. Fast forward after I finished my doctorate, we developed a few patents. So I ended up with my professor starting a company called Biolom. After Biolom, I joined another company out of MIT, BioScale. And then later on, I I joined IDEX, which is where I'm at right now. So what do I do? Or what did I do in the past? So at Biolum, we developed these in vivo biosensors or tests for early detection of different diseases. In the beginning, we targeted cancer. So what I'm showing you on the leftmost is the test that we use for early detection of carcinoembryonic antigen, which is a biomarker for colorectal cancer. And later on, we ended up commercializing the in vitro aspect of that technology, which is where we, as a Biolum, we focused on. Biolum as a company struggled a little bit. In the beginning, it was around $3 to $4 million company, but then we struggled to raise funding. So a few key people out of the company left, and the company at that point struggled a little bit. So I ended up joining another startup company out of MIT, Bioscale, which on the other hand, they didn't have issues with fundraising. So, but the technology was a little bit different. They were more focused on developing instruments for biomarker detection or protein detection, mainly used for biomarker discovery in academia and also in some companies. So most of their clients were different companies. So actually, I got to learn a little bit about becoming a systems engineer at Bioscale. Later on, I joined IDEX, which has been there for about 6 or 7 years, mostly focusing on different technologies, which some of them I'll touch are relevant to what I'll be talking today, like things like Catalyst One, Catalyst DX, Snap Pro Reader. So for the most part of my job, I'm involved in development of new products. But recently, in addition to new technology development, I've also been involved in what they call technology scouting or competitive landscape investigation. What that group does basically is, because IDEX is like right now about $4 billion company. So one of the business model is to acquire smaller companies. So as part of that technology scouting group, companies come to us, they pitch different technologies, and if we find those technology to be competitive enough and fit our strategies going forward, we acquire them. So it's kind of like interesting twist that about 10 years ago, I was on the other end. Right now, I'm on that end, interviewing companies, and when possible, we give them funding, or in some cases, we also acquire them. Now, as for the topic of today, I listed several digital health technology examples over there, which kind of like diagnostics, wearable devices, telehealth, electronic health, medical records, artificial intelligence, machine learning, and big data or digital data. But the ones that I've highlighted are the ones that I'll be talking about today. And the reason for that is why I decided to pick this topic when I was talking with Dr. Zokums is that clearly there has been a paradigm shift with the following the COVID pandemic or during the COVID pandemic. A lot of things have changed in the area of diagnostics. For example, even when I was at Biolum, we used to develop tests, and until you get to the point that you get to FDA, where you kind of like start the clinical trials and things of that nature, it usually took like 2 to 3 years to do that. That is not the case right now, for a variety of reasons, which I'll explain later. And at the moment, people develop tests in only weeks and months. And part of the things that are allowing people and companies to do things like that is related to data. So that's why I think there is a kind of like synergistic relationship between these two areas that I'm going to talk about today. That's why I think it might be very interesting. Some of the examples I'll be sharing today are things that I've been directly involved. So in that case, I might have been better positioned to really maybe address some of the questions that you might have as much as I can without going through some of the challenges related to things that I cannot communicate due to intellectual properties and things like that. So just as a heads up, some of the slides that I'll be sharing from now going forward, they're confidential. So please bear that in mind. Interesting. So I'm showing the mosquito. I know for the audience over there, probably this is a sensitive topic, but bear with me for a second, and then you will know where I'm going with this animal. So, as you all know, mosquitoes are ferocious animal, right? I mean, some of them they just live to eat, or they eat to live. And mosquitoes actually are responsible for death of about few hundred thousands a year. And in some reports by WHO and CDC, it's reported that they're responsible for death of about roughly 1 million people a year, all diseases combined, malaria, Zika, and you name it. But why am I talking about these animals today? It's because of this phenomena that lots of scientists study them for a while. People like myself who are systems engineer, they've been studying this animal for a long time. And it's the mechanism of how these animals go about in doing their work, which has really fascinated a lot of engineers in the past. One of them being the fact that, which to me, even when I was diving deep into this field, I didn't even know that they have this sensing capability that they can go around your skin and look for traces of lactic acid. And when they find out, they know that they're very close to the nerve, and then they would, before they do anything, they would numb that area, and then they will start probing. So numbing really enables them to really probe and get into the blood vessel without you feeling anything, right? And then they start sucking blood out of you. And other mechanism, which is super interesting, and I've highlighted over there, they usually actually don't take all the blood that they suck out of you. They have this blood filtration mechanism that really they keep the good stuff, the RBC, the red blood cells, and the rest of the water and some of the plasma. They actually leave it to you as a gift on your skin that they were present, right? So some people have been asking, like, why mosquitoes do this, right? If you go and look into literature, you will find out that mosquitoes usually use the RBC to really like fertilize and grow their eggs. That is the main purpose they do that. And with that in mind, you come to understand that it's only the female mosquitoes that do that. The male mosquito usually they feed on other things.